Alright, so we're here at ChupacabraCon still. Yes, we are. ChupacabraCon 2016. I have words and I can say them. I am good.
They just may not come out in the right order.
Right, that's true. But with me right now is Kim, and we are with the Savage Worlds guys, and in order,
Shane Hensley,
Clint Black,
Sean Patrick Fannin,
Jody Black.
and you guys have made one of my favorite role-playing game systems.
And now mine, thanks to him.
Yeah, I have to be honest and say that there's a lot of people I have like, here, play this, it's $10, you own this game, and a lot of people have. Explain to people who may not know what it is. What is Savage Worlds?
Clint, you're the Savage Worlds rules brand manager. Why don't you take this?
Savage Worlds is a tabletop role-playing game,
Mm-hmm.
and the basic design is to keep things fast, furious, fun. That's our goal, is to make sure you're having a good time, it's easy for the GM to run the game, and it's fun for the players to play it.
And you guys use a very easy dice system. It's your standard D20 set minus the D20. I don't see a lot of games that use the D20.
Standard D20 set minus D20. Okay, that's
Well, I mean,
that's a good way to say it.
It's a D20 set.
That's
but
true.
You take the D20 out.
We
you're
use a
fine.
D4, D6, D8, D10,
Okay.
D12, and
Yeah.
the higher your die type, the better you are at something. And then, of course, there are something called edges, which make you even cooler at specific things, like the way you fight with different weapons or talk people into things, that kind of stuff.
And there are also hindrances that make people not so good at things.
That's right. Hindrances are fun, right? They're things that you can role play, like heroic, for example, is actually a hindrance because the more you are heroic and throw yourself in the line of fire for others, that's a bad thing for you personally, right? But what's kind of cool about a hindrance like that is when you play them, you get what we call benefits, chips that you can use to alter die rolls and so forth later on, or save your bacon when things get tough.
Yes.
In Savage Worlds, it's like one of the most flexible game systems. I originally, back in the part of my career, I worked on Champions. I like to explain, Hero System was a greatly flexible game system, but GURPS in Champions, they're amazingly flexible games. People love those. I like to talk about Savage Worlds as being at least 80 to 90% of the same flexibility, but only 20% of the heaviness and investiture. So the fast, furious fun is incredibly important. And the best part about it that I've discovered is how many GMs really embrace this. I don't have to work so hard to run this game.
And it came about because I was in my 30s at the time, and I had 2 kids and a lot of work to do. And when I came home, and I was just dying to game. I'm a gamer at heart, have been all my life. I want a game, but I can't really put the 4-6 hours into creating the scenarios I used to do, right, with all the NPC stats and all the really heavy detail that some of the games required. So we wanted something that we could just read something just before everybody shows up to game, order a pizza, get the NPCs made in seconds and play. And then cool stuff will happen. And you've got memories that you share with your friends, right? That's really what role-playing is all about, regardless of system. And that's what we played to that strength, to try to accommodate that.
One of the things I like about Savage Worlds is, and this is the key part that I also have to explain to a lot of people, is Savage Worlds is a system, a rule system without really a setting. You have multiple settings. So where D&D or several other games have a rule set and a setting, you guys have a rule set and tons of settings.
It's very modular. Like
Right.
you can plug anything, any setting, any time into it.
That was what I liked about it first as a player before I started working with the team, is that you could take the same mechanics that you're using for example, our bolt power. It works the same way whether or not you're a superhero and it's a swarm of insects that's swarming out there and attacking them. You're rolling the same dice. Or you've got your ray gun and it's going woo woo woo. It's the same dice. You're using the same game mechanic. It's just how you're describing it from genre to genre.
Yeah, and because that you guys have a huge amount of settings, and correct me if I've missed any, because there's a lot. Deadlands, which is your guys' first. The Savage World started off as Deadlands Classic, right, and then moved into Deadlands.
So Deadlands Classic was our first RPG that we published, and it is definitely kind of a 1980s, 1990s kind of system. It's a little heavier and clunkier, a lot more detail, but definitely takes a little bit longer. But some of the ideas that we learned from that, we distilled into a miniatures game called The Great Rail Wars for Deadlands, and people loved it. And we had such success with it at conventions, and one of the things we were really proud of is, despite the fact that it was a miniatures game, which weren't particularly female friendly at the time, tons of females loved playing Great Rail Wars with us. So, part of it was the setting and the cool factions that we had that I think catered to different tastes and varieties. But some of it also was just, it was easy to understand. Bigger dice means you're better at things, right? And that stuck, and then we experimented with other settings for it, and then we eventually published it.
Because you have Deadlands, Noir now, same universe, but now in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Slipstream,
ETU.
ETU,
Yeah.
which is one of your guys' favorite
Yeah,
settings.
I love that one.
Yeah,
I
that's
gotta
the
go all
one.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer on that
Oh
one.
yeah, it's awesome, right? Made by a local group here in Texas
Yes.
called The Midnight.
And I love that because it's one of the few times I can honestly say this where it's like, oh, it's a Texas thing, and I have to tell people, the guys who made this live in East Texas, and they're like, oh, good, because so many of the sections are like, that's an Arizona thing, no, that's an Oklahoma thing,
Yeah.
that's Louisiana. When are you gonna hit Texas?
Right.
And you have Rippers, which is coming out. You've got the new space one. I'm so skipping his name.
Last parsec.
Less
Less
Parsec. Less Parsec. Anyone? What's your guys' favorite out of all of the ones you have? Like I said,
It's like
there's
asking
so
you
many.
to
Of
pick your favorite child.
No.
Well, it's generally the one that texts
It's
me.
the one that gets the better grade.
I
That's
think
how
Sean
I
can answer. Sean can answer which one is his favorite least.
Oh, that's not gonna go over, I mean,
Don't worry, Flame Wars are on the bottom.
yeah, well, here's the thing, of course, I have a fondness for the big one that I am very, very honored to be a part of, which is the new Savage Rift stuff that we've got going on, but,
Yes.
I was really thrilled to see Rippers get some new love. There's that whole Victorian superheroes versus the horrors thing just really appeals to my personal, where I am with things. I've died entirely too many times in Deadlands, so I'm not
That's
as
the
much.
point.
Supposed to, yeah.
And I never got heroed, so it never worked out real well
Yeah.
for me. So. But no, the thing you mentioned is the brilliance of the system. There's so many places you can go. I mean, there's all the Pinnacle products, and then there's all the amazing stuff coming out from all the other publishers who have great relationships with Pinnacle. So, I'm something of a historian of gaming, and I'm pretty sure there has been no single rule set that has had as many different and diverse settings as this game system has. It is pretty impressive.
And actually, before Jody and Clint say what their favorites are, one of the things that inspires us is when we go to a lot of conventions and we see people running Savage Worlds games, the variety and diversity of stuff they're doing is just phenomenal, right? And some of the ones that have really stuck out in my mind, we see Savage Scooby-Doo quite a bit. Savage Scooby-Doo Post-Apocalypse is kind of a hot one right now. There's a set of miniatures people have glommed onto. It's awesome. I think the coolest one I ever saw was run by Mark Gacy at Genghis Khan in Denver, and it was Savage, Willy Wonka, and the Chocolate Factory.
Nice.
So
I just every time you critically fail, does an Oompa Loompa come out and sing about it?
there was something like that. I didn't get to play it, but my understanding was there was a nuclear war, yada yada, civilizations ended, and the kids from Willy Wonka decide the only safe place to go is back to the Chocolate Factory. So they're trying to break in, and I think there's irradiated, mutated Oompa Loompas.
Oh my God. So
That's fantastic.
I'm currently running a very, very popular Savage Star Wars game. I've seen amazing Savage Firefly, and of course I'd be very remiss, and Savage Mojo, please forgive me, because of course Shintar, which is an epic fantasy
Sean's
setting
baby.
that I designed and created and have very gratefully handed off, and it's still going. There's a lot of action going on there, so it really is just all over the place.
So I cut you off. What were your guys' favorite?
Deadlands. I always go back to Deadlands as my drop dead favorite. But I've had so much fun in all of the games, and every time I get done working on a project, I'm like, I want to play this.
Favorite child?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, you know what yours is.
Well, kind of. I mean, I obviously have a love, to go back to the one that you designed to begin with. The first setting I did was Necessary Evil,
Which is still hugely popular, by the way.
which is, an alien invasion, they kill all the superheroes, and the resistance is made up of supervillains. And then
Yeah.
one of my favorite things is actually now the sequel, Necessary Evil 2, which is Breakout, which is basically the street level supers for Necessary Evil mixed with Escape from New York, because New York City has become the prison they use. And it was fun because Shane actually wrote that. And I got to go back and tell Shane a few times of, no, that's not like that in my city. And I got to pull that card. But a lot of the times for me, and this really is an oddity, it's the settings that I can't talk about yet. It's the stuff that we're working on at the time, and some of the stuff that's behind the scenes, or just ideas I've had in my head that I'm like, going, okay, that's gonna be really cool, you know?
Well,
And
I
those
suspect
are things.
that Flash is going to get. I'm sorry. So I said blew that. I meant to say, but Rippers may get supplanted by Flash is one of my favorites because I'm really, really excited about that one coming out.
Yeah, that would be the one that I'm currently.
Yes.
Flash Gordon.
Sorry.
Yes, the Flash Gordon one I'm excited about.
Okay. We have to wrap up fairly shortly, but real fast. I have to say I blew the roof off my house when I saw the Gen Con announcement and you guys wearing the shirts. I'm like, what? So yes, we're looking forward to Flash. We've got an announcement for you guys.
Yeah.
We are when I get Rippers, because I was one of the backers of Rippers
Thank you.
for Kickstarter. My Kickstarter page is 90% of you guys.
And I'm starting to file in because I'm on
Kickstarter page.
thank you. Yeah, because I've backed the newer one that's not closed yet for 115. I got the.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lunch was on you today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to, but my car has a leaky radiator, so I was going to do the same thing. We are going to stream. Savage Worlds on Friday nights on our Twitch channels.
Yeah.
Nice.
That'll
So
be
we have multiple
fantastic.
camera angles, one for the DM, a couple for the players.
Nice.
Wow.
Still working out logistics, but
But yeah,
Awesome.
we're going to do that, and yeah, we're starting with Rippers. So,
That's gonna be so
but
fun.
so if people want to know what's going to happen with Savage Worlds next, where it's going down, where can they go?
PEGINC.com. If that's too hard to remember, Deadlands.com will also get you there.
And if they don't find a gaming store near them that carries it, as gaming stores lately have been hard to find. Where is there just that website? Is there anything else?
So there's Deadlands.com. You can also find it at the main PDF sales company in our industry, which is RPGnow.com.
Cool. And yeah, that's us. And guys, trust me, check it out. Check their games out. It is a lot of fun and it is really interesting. So we're gonna let you guys go. We're gonna let these guys go because they've got lots of people and other stuff, fun things to do. And we've got more interviews coming up next.
Thanks.
The next one is Gorilla. Gorilla is their mother, and I want to know
And she's got 72 children.
who slept with her to have 72 children. Someone that
She's
evil
got
who
three-
eats babies.
She's got 3 different husbands and 72